All right, so robotic process automation, we're diving in today, looking at Autosmic. They're making some serious moves as a contender against some of those big RPA platforms like UiPath.
Yeah.
You might be thinking, okay, another RPA platform. But Autosmic, well, they've got some interesting stuff going on.
Yeah, and one of the things that's so fascinating about Autosmic is their approach to security and control. They've got this local control with global oversight. It's really a game changer, especially for organizations, that are dealing with sensitive data, or maybe they've got, very strict compliance requirements.
Okay. Break that down for me a little bit. What does that actually look like?
So imagine you're like a healthcare provider.
Right.
You've got tons of patient data, and it all has to stay on premises, because of regulations.
Yeah.
So Autosmic, their bots can actually run those tasks directly on your local servers. So that sensitive data, it stays secure. But here's the twist. You still get centralized monitoring and alerts through like a dashboard. So you've got eyes on everything, spot any issues instantly. And you still maintain complete control, even though the processing's happening locally.
So it's like you're getting like the best of both worlds almost.
Right.
The security of on-site processing.
Right.
But then the convenience and the oversight of a cloud-based system. That's pretty cool.
It is. And, in this architecture, it plays into one of Autosmic's other strengths, scheduling. They offer something called fine-grained scheduling, and it's a lifesaver, especially if you are a business operating in multiple time zones, or if you're managing complex workflows with lots of dependencies.
So picture this, like a global company. They need to run a report at the end of the day in London, then use that data to update their system in New York before their workday begins. Could Autosmic handle that?
Absolutely. Yeah, their scheduling is incredibly precise. You can specify exact times, dependencies between different tasks, and even factor in all those different time zones. It's like having an air traffic controller for your bots. Just making sure everything, takes off and lands exactly when it should.
Wow. Okay, so that level of control, that is impressive.
Yeah.
Especially for organizations that are juggling lots of different moving parts. But when we're talking about, local processing and all this precise scheduling, it makes me wonder about scaling. What happens when a company needs to grow? How does Autosmic handle that?
Yeah. That's where their serverless architecture really shines.
Okay, so serverless, I'm familiar with like the cloud, but serverless always throws me for a loop. What's the advantage there?
So it really comes down to flexibility and efficiency. So with Autosmic, you don't have to worry about buying and managing your own servers. You don't have to predict how much capacity you'll need in the future.
Yeah.
The platform scales automatically. It handles whatever you throw at it, whether it's like a sudden spike in activity or a gradual increase in workload. And because you only pay for what you use, it can be a big cost saver compared to those traditional, server-based solutions.
So it's almost like it grows with your business. It adapts to your needs.
Yeah.
Without, needing a ton of IT intervention. And that sounds pretty appealing from a management perspective.
For sure. And it ties back into that, local control, global oversight philosophy.
Right.
So you get that power and scalability of a cloud-based system while retaining control over where your data is processed.
Okay, so we've got the rock-solid security, pinpoint scheduling, effortless scalability. But let's talk about user-friendliness for a second. Is this just for the tech wizards, or can, mere mortals like myself get in on the automation action?
Well, I think Autosmic recognizes that automation is most powerful when it's in the hands of the people doing the work. So they've invested a lot in features that make the platform accessible and easy to use.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Give me an example.
Sure. So let's say you've built an automation that interacts with a website, but then that website, gets redesigned.
Oh.
And your bot is lost.
Right.
Well, with Autosmic, you don't need to be like a coding expert to fix that. You can simply guide the bot with your mouse, showing it the new locations of the elements it needs to interact with.
So you're just pointing and clicking to teach it the new steps
Oh,
instead of wrestling with all that code.
exactly. It's intuitive, it's visual, and it's incredibly efficient.
Okay, I like that. It feels like they've really thought about the end user's experience, recognizing that not everyone is a programmer.
For sure. And they go beyond just intuitive features. Autosmic is also known for their consultant-led implementation process. So they work very closely with clients, understand their specific needs, they tailor solutions, and they provide hands-on training.
So they don't just kind of throw the software at you and say, good luck.
Yeah.
They're really involved in making sure you succeed.
Exactly. And then they back all that up with a ton of resources, like solution videos, comprehensive documentation. They're committed to empowering users so they can become automation experts, within their organizations.
Oh, that's a huge plus.
Yeah.
It really sounds like they're invested in their client success.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground already, and it's clear that Autosmic's bringing a lot to the table, especially when it comes to security and flexibility and ease of use. But there's one more area I want to explore before we move on.
Okay.
What about Autosmic's integration with AI, like artificial intelligence? Everyone's talking about AI these days, so I'm curious to know how they're incorporating it into their platform.
Yeah. That's a great question, and it's definitely one that we want to delve into. Autosmic has definitely embraced the power of AI, and they've integrated it in some really interesting ways.
Okay, I'm all ears. Let's dive deeper into that AI-powered automation right after. Well, we're just going to keep going.
Sounds good to me.
All right, so let's talk AI.
So you were asking about Autosmic and AI?
Yeah, like everyone is buzzing about it. And I want to know how Autosmic is like weaving it into their platform. Are we talking about, bots writing poetry and painting masterpieces?
Not quite poetry or masterpieces,
Right.
but definitely some impressive capabilities.
Yeah.
They have a really smart approach to AI integration. So they built connectors to major AI platforms like OpenAI,
Mm-hmm.
which gives you access to a whole bunch of pre-trained AI models.
Okay, wait. Back up for a sec. Pre-trained AI models, what does that even mean?
Okay, so think of it like this. Imagine you want your bot to read through a contract
Okay.
and pull out key information, like, dates or names or payment terms. Now, instead of building that AI capability from scratch, which would be a massive undertaking, you can use a pre-trained model that already knows how to do that.
Oh, so it's like you're tapping into like existing AI expertise
Right,
instead of reinventing the wheel every single time.
right.
That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah,
But what about businesses that have very unique needs? Can Autosmic handle that?
absolutely. So they also let you connect to custom AI models. So if you've built your own AI models that are specific to your industry or your internal processes, you can integrate them into your Autosmic workflows.
Okay, so that's a really powerful combination. It's like you've created a platform that's user-friendly for beginners,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also super flexible for those that really want to push the boundaries a little bit. But give me some real-world examples. Like, where is this AI integration actually making a difference for businesses?
Well, one of the areas where it's really shining is in document processing.
Okay.
So think about all those invoices and contracts and reports that just flood businesses every single day. With AI-powered automation, you can take all of that data, extract it from those documents, automatically route it to the right people, and even flag potential issues or inconsistencies.
So it's like having a digital assistant who can go through all of your paperwork and highlight all the important information.
Exactly.
And that saves so much time and probably reduces human error, too.
For sure. And it goes beyond just document processing. AI integration can also really enhance customer service. You can improve decision-making and even automate those complex tasks that, were previously thought to require, like, human judgment.
Wow. This is blowing my mind a little bit.
Yeah.
It really feels like AI is taking automation to like a whole new level, and Autosmic is right there on the cutting edge. But I'm still missing one piece of the puzzle here. Earlier, you mentioned that Autosmic can connect to a company's knowledge base.
Yeah.
So how does that fit in with all this AI stuff?
That's where things get really interesting. So imagine you're building a bot to answer customer questions, about your products or your services. By connecting to your knowledge base, that bot can access all of your company's internal information, like FAQs, product manuals, troubleshooting guides, you name it.
So instead of giving like generic answers, it can really provide accurate information that's tailored to the customer's specific questions.
Exactly. And that's huge for customer service.
Yeah.
Because it means you can offer 24/7 support, you can handle a much higher volume of inquiries, and ensure that customers are always getting that consistent, reliable information.
Wow. So it's almost like having like a team of super smart customer service agents who never sleep and never get tired of answering the same questions again and again. I can really see why businesses are so excited about this whole AI-powered automation. So we've talked about security and scalability, user-friendliness, now AI integration. It's clear that Autosmic is really packing a punch. But I'm curious, how do they stack up against some of those other major players, especially UiPath, which is often seen as like the industry leader?
That's a great question. And, UiPath is definitely a powerful platform, but there are definitely some areas where Autosmic offers some distinct advantages.
Okay. I'm hooked. Let's unpack those comparisons.
All right. One of the key areas where Autosmic really stands out is its ability to handle those legacy systems. That can be such a headache for businesses.
Oh, tell me about it. Like those tangled webs of outdated software that just refuse to die. I know a lot of companies are struggling with that. So what's Autosmic's secret weapon?
It all comes down to something we talked about earlier: browser and HTML independence.
Okay.
So, a lot of RPA tools rely heavily on specific browser extensions or HTML structures to interact with applications, but Autosmic, their bots are designed to work independently of the browser, which gives them incredible flexibility.
So if you're stuck with an older application that doesn't play nicely with other RPA platforms, Autosmic might be the answer.
Exactly. They can automate tasks in a wider range of applications, including those legacy systems, the ones that might not have a standard web interface. And because they're not relying on actually modifying that underlying application, it's a much more secure approach and definitely less invasive.
That makes a lot of sense. It's almost like having like a universal key.
Yeah.
One that can unlock automation potential in almost any software, no matter how old or quirky it is.
That's a great analogy. And, and this capability is especially valuable for organizations and industries like finance or healthcare or even government, where legacy systems are just deeply entrenched.
Okay. So we've got legacy system mastery in the bag.
Yeah.
What other advantages does Autosmic bring to the table when you're comparing it to the competition?
Well, another area where they really stand out is in their approach to user empowerment. So, we've already talked about their intuitive features like guided correction and their consultant-led implementation.
Right.
But they also go further than that. They offer extensive training programs, a ton of solution videos, and a very active user community.
So they're not just giving you the tools. It's more like they're building an entire ecosystem of support to help you succeed with automation.
Exactly. And that's a key differentiator. Because they recognize that successful automation, it's not just about the technology, it's about people. They're really invested in making sure that their platform is accessible to a wider range of users, from business analysts to what they call citizen developers.
I love that. It's about democratizing automation and giving everybody that power to streamline their work so they can focus on more of those strategic tasks.
For sure.
All right. So we've covered security, scalability, AI integration, legacy system mastery, and a deep commitment to user empowerment. Honestly, I'm struggling to find a weakness here. What's your take? Is Autosmic the perfect RPA platform?
Well, I don't know if any technology is ever truly perfect. And every organization, they have their own unique needs and requirements. But I would say Autosmic makes a very compelling case, especially for those who are looking for a secure, flexible, user-friendly alternative to some of those other major players, out there in the market.
I totally agree. They've definitely earned a spot on the short list for any business that's considering an RPA solution. But before we wrap up, there's one more question I have to ask.
Okay.
We've been talking about all these amazing capabilities, but where do you see Autosmic having the biggest impact in the future? Like, what are you most excited about?
For me, it's the potential of their AI integration. We're just scratching the surface of what's possible when you combine automation and AI.
Yeah.
And as those AI models evolve and become even more sophisticated, I think we're going to see Autosmic leading the charge, creating these truly intelligent automation solutions that transform how businesses operate.
I can't wait to see what they come up with next. All right, I think it's time to wrap up our deep dive into Autosmic.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot today, from security and control to AI and their commitment to user empowerment.
It's been a great exploration.
It really has. And I hope our listeners have gained some valuable insights into what makes Autosmic such a powerful force in this world of RPA.
If you're intrigued by what you've heard, I really encourage you to visit their website, check out the resources, maybe even schedule a demo. You might be surprised by what you discover.
Absolutely. And be sure to let us know if you have any questions or any topics that you'd like us to explore in future deep dives. We're always excited to go on these adventures in the world of technology and innovation.
For sure. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep automating.
Absolutely.
So Autosmic is proving to be a real game changer for organizations in those industries where legacy systems are just deeply entrenched, like manufacturing or logistics or even government agencies, those sectors that rely so heavily on older software, the kind that doesn't always play nicely with all the modern automation tools.
Yeah, I can see how that would be a huge pain point, trying to integrate those newer technologies with all those outdated systems. It's got to be like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole.
Exactly. But you know what? Autosmic's unique approach to automation, with that browser and HTML independence we were talking about, it lets them bridge the gap really seamlessly. Their bots can navigate those complex environments with ease, automating tasks that were previously considered, way too challenging or just too time-consuming.
It's like they found a way to breathe new life into all those old systems without having to, rip and replace everything, which would be incredibly costly and just a huge disruption.
Exactly. And as AI continues to evolve, we're going to see even more innovative uses for Autosmic coming up. Like, imagine bots that can analyze market trends or predict customer behavior, maybe even generate creative content.
Wow. That's incredible. It really feels like the future of work is just unfolding before our eyes.
Yes.
And Autosmic is right there, leading the charge. So as we wrap up this deep dive into Autosmic, what's like the one key takeaway you want our listeners to remember?
I think if you're looking for a secure, flexible, and user-friendly RPA platform, one that can handle those legacy systems, but also all that AI-powered automation, Autosmic is definitely worth a closer look.
I totally agree. They've really impressed us with everything, their technical capabilities, their focus on user empowerment, their vision for the future of automation. If you're ready to unlock new levels of efficiency and innovation in your organization, I think you should really explore what Autosmic has to offer.
Absolutely.
Right.
And as always, let us know if you have any questions or any topics you'd like us to explore in future deep dives. We're always so excited to share what we know and help you navigate this ever-evolving world of technology.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep automating.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So we talked about all the tech stuff, the strengths of Autosmic, but I think what really sets them apart is their philosophy. It's not just about building software. It's about empowering people to actually use it, to solve real-world problems.
Absolutely. Yeah, their focus on user-friendliness and the training and the hands-on support is phenomenal. They really get it.
Yeah.
You know that successful automation isn't just about the tech. It's about how people use it, how they adopt it.
Right. And that brings us to a question like, where are we actually seeing Autosmic make the biggest impact? Right now. What are some specific use cases where they're really knocking it out of the park?
So one area is highly regulated industries, like finance and healthcare. Their ability to keep that sensitive data on premises, while still providing, centralized monitoring and control, it's a huge advantage, especially in those sectors.
Makes sense.
So imagine a financial institution, they're processing loan applications, or a healthcare provider, managing all those patient records, and all while adhering to, stringent compliance requirements.
Right. And security and compliance are just non-negotiable in those industries.
For sure.
But it's not just about keeping data safe. It's also about, making those processes more efficient.
Exactly. Think about all those tasks, the ones that are bogging down employees, data entry, form processing, report generation. Autosmic can take all that, automate it.
Yeah.
Free up those employees so they can work on more strategic stuff, higher value work.
So it's not about replacing jobs, it's about making jobs better.
Exactly. And because Autosmic's bots can work offline, they're great for organizations that have, limited or unreliable internet, which can be a real problem in certain areas.
That's a really good point. Because not everybody has, high-speed internet all the time.
Right.
What about those businesses that are struggling with all those legacy systems?
Yeah.
We were talking about how Autosmic can handle those. Where are they seeing success there?
Well, they're proving to be a total game changer for those organizations and industries where legacy systems are still the norm.
Wow.
It's like manufacturing, logistics, government agencies, sectors that really rely on older software that doesn't always work well with newer tools.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like trying to, fit a square peg in a round hole sometimes. Trying to get all those technologies to play nice.
Exactly. But Autosmic, that unique approach with the browser and HTML independence, it lets it, bridge those gaps really smoothly. Their bots can navigate those complex environments with ease, automating those tasks that people thought were just too hard, or too time consuming.
Like they figured out how to breathe new life into all those systems without having to, replace them, which can be a nightmare.
Yeah, for sure. And as AI keeps evolving, we're going to see even more cool uses coming out for Autosmic. Imagine bots that can analyze market trends or predict what customers are going to do or even generate creative content.
Whoa, that's wild. The future is now, and Autosmic is leading the way. So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of Autosmic, what's the one thing you want our listeners to remember?
If you are looking for a secure, flexible, user-friendly RPA platform that can handle it all, from legacy systems to AI-powered automation, Autosmic is worth checking out.
Couldn't agree more. They've really blown us away with everything they offer, the technology, their commitment to their users, their vision for the future. If you're ready to unlock those new levels of, efficiency and innovation in your business or organization, then go explore Autosmic.
Yeah, for sure. And as always, let us know if you've got questions or if there are any topics you'd like us to, cover in future deep dives. We're always excited to share what we know and help you navigate the crazy world of technology.
Absolutely. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep automating.